In today's video, I'm gonna talk about 5 essential things about watercolor paint that you must know as an watercolor artist before buying any watercolor paint. Some of these parameters you already are aware of, but there are some other hidden parameters that I'm gonna talk about in this video so that you can pick the right watercolor paint for your artwork. I'm gonna also show how you can identify this particular parameters in the watercolor tubes or the other form of the watercolor paint that you are buying so that it will be easy for you to choose any watercolor paint. Hi, this is Amit. Welcome back to my channel. First of all, I wish a very happy new year to all of you. I hope you guys had a great beginning to this new year, and I wish all the very best for the rest of this year. So let's get into the discussion. 5 essential things about watercolor paint. Number 1, transparency or opacity. This is a very simple or maybe very common to all of you. You guys are already aware of this particular term. So in a very simple language, if you paint 2 strokes, one above the other, so the bottom layer, how much it is visible through the top layer, is defined by the top layer's transparency. So most of the suppliers or the manufacturers, they symbolize this by a common way. It's basically a square box you will see in the tubes or in any other form of watercolor paint. It's either full empty, that signifies it is fully transparent. If it is half filled, that shows it is semi-opaque or semi-transparent. If it is fully filled, that means it is fully opaque. Number 2, light fastness of watercolor paint. This is one of those parameters that we generally overlook or we think that is not important for our artwork. But this is very crucial when it comes to professional artwork. So it basically means that how much a color is gonna fade away over the time when it is exposed to the light. So American Society for Testing and Materials, they have defined 3 different grades for this particular. It's defined with Roman letter 1, 2 and 3. 1 means it is extremely permanent, 2 it's very good, and 3 means it's poor. So it's gonna fade away with the time when it is exposed to the light. So please avoid this kind of colors when you are using for professional artwork or you are planning to sell some artwork to the clients. So that can be risky or if you are using this kind of grades color. So there are other manufacturers or suppliers, they symbolize this with their own terminologies. Some define this with star rating. 5-star or 3-star means it's extremely permanent, comes all the way to the down to the 1-star, which is basically poor. Some also defines it with a lettering system A, B, C or something like that. So I highly recommend you see the spec sheet of a specific brand so that you understand that how they have symbolized all these parameters so that you pick the right one for your right artwork. The third important and essential parameters about watercolor paint is pigment coding. So typically it will come with a letter code. Let's say it will start with P and then the color letter and some numbers attached to it. For example, for cobalt blue it will be PB28. So you should also see whether the particular color is single pigmented or multi-pigmented. So single pigmented colors will have only one specific index attached to it. For multiple multi-pigmented colors will have multiple such things. For example, Payne's gray, it will have 2 different colors or 2 different single pigmented colors attached to it. For example, turquoise blue, it will have 2 different single pigmented colors attached to it. Whereas for cobalt blue, it will be single. So multi-pigmented colors and single pigmented colors will have their own pros and cons. For example, multi-pigmented colors will give you an instant shade which may be difficult to mix consistently with 2 or more than that single pigmented colors, because maintaining the same ratio of each single pigmented colors can be difficult. Whereas single pigmented colors are easy to mix, because they are very predictably mixing part comes into the picture. So choose accordingly based on your need, based on your application or the type of artwork that you create. All right, number 4 is series number. This is one more crucial things to notice when buying watercolor paint. Now this can be mentioned in the tubes or the spec sheet as S1, S2 or S3, S4 or series 1, series 2, something like that. Some of the suppliers also define it with ABC series. So typically 1 and 2 are less expensive than series 3 and 4. So this series is directly linked to the pricing of it, but not directly to the quality. So it's basically how that specific color is made, or what material that specific color is made up of. For example, these siennas, the umbers, right? Raw sienna or burnt umber, all those colors which are made up of readily available earth materials. So they are uh, literally less expensive than the colors like cobalt blue, which are made up of very expensive minerals or materials, or even with expensive processes. So try to see this series number, or some of the hues also you will see in the color tube, right? Cobalt blue hue, that's not exactly that series 4 cobalt blue, but it's an workaround which can give kind of similar effect to that specific series 4 color. So it's not necessary to fill your palette with all the series 4 colors, but try to mix it up or bit experiment between the colors and see how much series 1 or 2 grade colors are matching to the series 3 or 4 level colors. Then you can choose the right one for your application, but keeping this knowledge so that you can choose the right one for you. The fifth important parameter is the staining effect of watercolor. So it typically means when the color is applied on the paper and it is dried, and you try to lift the color with a wet brush, how much that color is going to be removed, right? So typically you will see a triangular shape in the tubes, which can be completely empty or semi-filled or fully filled. So an empty triangular shape represents it is non-staining, so you can easily remove that. For half filled it is semi-staining, and if it is fully filled, that means the color is extremely staining, so it is difficult to remove once it is dried off. So some of the applications need this specific type of brushwork to create certain effect, so choose accordingly based on your artwork. All right, to conclude, we had discussed 5 essential things about watercolor paints. Number 1 is opacity, 2 is light fastness, then pigment coding, series number, and fifth one we discussed about is staining effect of watercolor. So according to me, you can neglect the staining effect of watercolor, but the rest of the 4 that I discussed are very important. I highly recommend you check all these 4 parameters before buying any watercolor paints. So let me know if I have missed any such parameters that you are already aware of. Let me know in the comment box. I'll be happy to learn about it, and also comment which all parameters you already knew and which all things you have learned in this particular video. So I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.